So, as has happened many times recently, I had one video to make, and then another topic popped up. And to strike while the iron's hot, I'm doing this one instead of what I was doing, which is now on the back burner. Okay? But, here goes. Once and for all, so that you all understand this, fair use intrinsically means you are taking someone out of context. Okay? They had their whole work, and you are taking a part of it out of the whole, out of the context of that whole, and then you are putting it into your work and adding your commentary, criticism, your parody, whatnot. So, intrinsically, it has to be that it is okay to take someone out of context. And if the meaning that the greater context would give that clip is lost, so be it. Because if we're going to have fair use at all, we have to have the ability to take someone out of context. Okay? Even if, on its face, if someone were to see the original work and then see the derivative work later where someone's commenting on just a clip from that, if they would think that that commenter was being disingenuous or lying about the original person or making them look bad because they're outside of the greater context, even if those are the cases, then it is still okay because, well, how many times do you see someone taken out of context in a fair use capacity where they are okay with the way that they were portrayed? Here on YouTube, it's a very rare thing. Okay, any victim of ponage, anyone who's had their points critiqued, they do not like that the other person has a point and they used a clip of them when they were making their point. Okay? If we are to have fair use at all and not be flagging each other for little clips used here and there, we have to allow for taking people out of context, even to the point where it looks to some people as being disingenuous or not carrying the entire weight of the point or characterizing them wrongly. It needs to be that way. If you believe in free speech, just a 10-minute thought experiment on this about how things should work should bring you to the conclusion that it should be okay to take people out of context if we're going to have fair use. Why am I saying this? Well, someone forwarded me a video of Jenny McDermott calling for a flagging campaign against Milo Yiannopoulos, who's now on Facebook, with a video, with a clip from Jenny McDermott's #KillAllMen video. Now, that clip doesn't allow for people to see the entire context of her original video. And if people had the entire context, they might see that it was more satire. Jenny McDermott, citing that she was taken out of context, is now asking for people to go flag his video down. Anytime a clip is used of your video, you are taken out of context. If someone is making a clip of your video to make you look bad, and you feel like it's unfair the way that they did it, the proper response to that would be to make a video yourself showing them to be disingenuous. Right? That would do way more damage to them than silencing them, actually. If Milo Yiannopoulos were shown to be wrong and shown to be just intentionally taking her at her word for just that clip and intentionally disregarding the context of the rest of her video and to be presenting her to be saying something that she's not. If he were shown to be doing this, that would be huge. But instead, no. Jenny McDermott wants all of the fan portion of her subscribers, not the haters that she's amassed, but the fan portion. She wants them to go over to Milo Yiannopoulos' video on Facebook and flag it down. What does this achieve? Seriously, anytime anyone has taken a clip of anyone else here on this website and or on the internet and then just used it in their own work, they have removed some of the original context. Okay? If their point that they're making is basically undone by the original context, then they're going to suffer. Okay? It is better to show them to be the fools that they are, or the liars that they are, than to try to silence them for taking me out of context. Holy shit. The proper response to this would be something like what Shoonhead did to the Satirician recently by showing that when she was doing her misandry character, that the Satirician didn't see the satire in the video that was posted, and so when he did this ponage of that satire, he was missing the original context. And so him using clips of that misandrist character in a way that removed the context of the satire, and I wouldn't even say that. It attempted to remove that. The way that he was presenting this as a real, on its face thing, outside of satire, it was wrong. And when Shoonhead made a video exposing how he was wrong to do that, that was the appropriate response. And he will pay in credibility far more than he would have if somebody had just flagged down the video and censored him. You know? There are ways to take people out of context that actually can create meaning here. Sometimes people will not admit that their positions actually are different from what they are saying, and the thought experiments that are created by creating these new derivative works allow us to go down that rabbit hole a little bit further than what they're putting out right now, and maybe when they clarify themselves, new meaning is created, new understanding is created. And also, I'll give the example of Kazoom taking all of the pauses from an Obama speech and just creating an entire montage of the seconds in between him speaking. That was taken out of context. You don't hear everything that was said in between all of those rounds of applause. But just an examination of the pauses in between Obama talking, that creates meaning. That is something interesting. And it shouldn't be that Barack Obama would look at that and say, "You took me out of context. I don't just stand there and collect applause all the time. I'm going to have all of my followers flag down your video." What good does that do? If he can prove by showing the original that all of that applause had reasons for it because of the words that he spoke right before it, then he would be showing that this meaning that you're getting from looking at all those pauses might be different than the meaning you would get when you're looking at the original video instead of the derivative video. If I was still doing the Weekly Flags recap, I think I would have covered this in about 10 seconds, and then done this video aside from it, because it is a really important point to consider, that intrinsically fair use requires that you take someone out of the context of the whole of the original. And it's not a reason to be flagging people.